something which we're doing as we count down towards Christmas. This is kind of like an advent calendar for the show. We are encouraging you to prayerfully consider making charitable giving a part of your Christmas celebration. There's a lot of fantastic organisations doing brilliant work here in New Zealand and also overseas, and actually making a donation to them as part of your Christmas celebration would make a huge difference to somebody's life that perhaps you'll never meet. One of those organisations is Barnabas Aid. Joining me on the program now from Barnabas Aid, Siobhan O'Neill. Kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Good morning.
Firstly, talk to us about your particular role with Barnabas Aid. What sort of work are you involved with, Siobhan?
Yeah, so my role is the Youth and Young Adults Coordinator. So I like to break that down into two A's, so two goals, to bring awareness and action. Mm-hmm. So to bring awareness to what it looks like to be a Christian across the globe, and to help us understand how Christians are suffering and persecuted simply because they love Jesus. And then action, encouraging action. And one thing that I don't like to do is to leave any youth or young adults group feeling burdened by the suffering around the world that's going on, because there is so much already. But to encourage them, as Barnabas means son of encouragement. So as we continue to encourage our brothers and sisters, how can we encourage youth and young adults of New Zealand of the good that is being done? And how can we invite them into the action of prayer and the action of partnering with our projects? And one of those is our Food.Gives project for this Christmas.
Nobody wants a guilt trip for Christmas, do they? I mean, even if it's nicely wrapped, that's not what we want. And certainly this isn't what Barnabas Aid is about. But actually, I imagine for young people, it would be easy, well, for people of any age, to look at some of the stuff that's happening in the world and go, gosh, this is overwhelming. This is too much. How can I make a difference? But I suppose with Barnabas Aid, with what we're talking about today, it's not a guilt trip. It's an opportunity to make a difference. It's the opportunity to be an answer to somebody else's prayer. And Christmas, of course, as good a time as any to be prayerfully considering that.
Yeah, of course. I always like to say not out of obligation, but opportunity. And I think it's so important for this younger generation to be aware of the suffering that is going on, because then we can do something about it. And I feel like this generation has such a passion for wanting to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Yeah. And so if I can spark that heart in youth and young adults to have a passion for helping our persecuted brothers and sisters, how much more can Little New Zealand make a big impact?
Yeah, certainly. And you talked about the Food.Gives program. Of course, that's part of the Christmas season here in New Zealand, is let's all get round the table and enjoy lots of food with friends and family. Nothing wrong with that tradition. But for Christians in many different parts of the world, food scarcity, just even the basics for their family, that's tough to get, and this is where Food.Gives comes in.
Yeah. So we live in a world where we're living in a global food crisis, where over 300 million people are suffering from acute hunger. For example, in places like Madagascar, many Christians are left out of food aid and governmental support, where our project partners say that they've found Christians eating poisonous cactus and tree bark because they don't have anything else, and they're getting rejected from governmental aid. So this is where Food.Gives comes in. So we started this project 2021, and there are two parts to it. We've got our Food.Gives boxes, and then our donations, which can go to EPAP. And even in this year alone, we've been able to provide over 5.2 million meals, which is equivalent to the population of New Zealand. Wow. So essentially, it is an international food bank. So we give boxes and ask that families and youth groups fill these boxes with food of rice, lentils, split pea, salt, and sugar. And then Barnabas Aid is able to send that to where Christians are in hunger and in need in places like Pakistan and Fiji. And then we have this other part called EPAP, where we're able, through donations, we're able to give something like a protein-enriched, vitamin-enriched instant porridge, which is created to combat malnutrition. And we're able to send that over to places like Madagascar and Africa. And the really cool thing is that to feed a child under 6 years, the cost of EPAP is $5 to
wow.
feed, and that lasts for 3 months. So it's something as small as helping to make an impact. Doesn't have to be big or overwhelming. It can be as simple as $5 to feed a kid for a month, or bringing an extra bag of lentils and split peas, filling up a box with your family, and sending that over to places in need.
This is absolutely brilliant, and $5 for 3 months. It's getting my head around what that looks like. You know, if I'm buying something from my local supermarket, one item that I can eat in 5 minutes, then if it's $5 or less, it's probably on special. That's the reality for us here in New Zealand. That, of course, goes so much further with this nutritionally enhanced porridge that you guys are distributing in places like Madagascar. 3 months for $5. That is absolutely amazing. Siobhan, just also wanting to talk about these food give boxes, because I mean, this is a wonderful idea. You talked about this is something that we could do as families, but also youth groups working on this. I mean, this is where you come in, I suppose. You speaking to youth groups, telling them stories, showing them and introducing them to some of the people that you're helping through the program. Are you guys all wrapped up for Christmas, or can people get in contact with Barnabas Aid and say, hey, we'd love to have Siobhan come to our youth group, talk about food gives or whatever's happening in the world, inspire our young people to make a difference?
Yes, 100%. So we can always get in contact. We've got amazing office staff through calling them and through our website, but I am still 100% available. Even last Christmas, I was able to work with a horse camp and a surf camp, and we got kids involved with that. We did a motocross camp this year who got involved. So it's not just youth groups, it's adventure camps but very open, and we can bring boxes to the talk and then distribute them.
That's absolutely fantastic. And hey, of course, people can find out more at barnabasaid.org/NZ. Siobhan, thank you for what you do. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Thanks for being on the program today.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.